Hello, this is Jeff Beaudry, and I'm going to be talking today about selected response tests. Those assessments that use multiple choice, true, false, fill in, and matching. We'll be talking about the resources that we have available for the activities and for learning about selected response. We'll be learning in particular about the match between the assessment method of selected response and achievement targets, and taking a look at the production process. How do we put a selected response test together from beginning to end? The purpose of this lesson in selected response is so that we become good consumers. That is, we know the resources to turn to when we have questions about selected response, and extremely importantly that we know how to match the methods with the targets. This is going to be the continuous conversation in assessment. How well do our methods assess our targets? And one of the things that is going to be of interest to some and not all is how do I produce and create new selected response assessments, or take the ones that I have and improve them. The resources that you should have at hand when you're doing this is the selected response lesson. We'll refer to that, so you should have that handy as we're going through this presentation. And that leads to the total item quality checklist, which is going to be the condensed version of criteria for judging the quality of different types of items. And then we'll do a practice test over here that was done in a science class. It's rudimentary, but it is nonetheless a good example for applying these criteria and the total item quality checklist. Well, this section on selected response is supported by two chapter readings. The most important one, I think, is where we look inside of a test and we look at how to construct a test, and that's in chapter 5. Stiggins also reminds us, and I think it's really important to remember, that students can be actively involved in the process of test construction, primarily because they need to know what the targets are. So that's where the test blueprint comes in, as we'll talk about. And then they can be writing the propositions, that is simple statements, as we'll talk about, of key knowledge and key content. And you'll see some of the other suggestions there. The item of the chapter about standardized tests is really a very, I think, familiar tune to many of you. Standardized tests touch us all, though. You have to remember that they are an important part of the assessment system, like it or not. That's why we want to take a closer look at some of the website resources for tests like the MEA, the new NECAP, the New England Assessment, the NUEA, the Northwest Evaluation Association MAP test, the SAT, the AccuPlacer, and need I say, the list goes on. So that's why we need to build our understanding of those resources as well. As I said, the Porta portal is active and full of links. This is the front page of the portal, so I'm going to pull down here. It's arranged in modules and in content. Kind of have to do a little bit of both. But we're talking about this integration of achievement targets, which is module 3, with selected response, which is module 4. So I think you can see how the two of those fit together. There's quite a bit of information about test construction, and I've gone off into some of the professional sites, some of the medical education sites, which are very clear, very nicely written. So if you want to look at some terrific ideas about item construction, item writing, I think it's very applicable. Measured Measures is one of the publications by the Department of Education that I participated in. Writing Selected Response Questions is a very good one. Item Writing Manual, Test Writing and Grading, also very good resources. So the Porta portal is there also for you to contribute to.